Welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. The story of Jack and Tutta Libby Cruz of Ute Creek Cattle Company near Buyeros, New Mexico is an American rancher love story. A story about two people's love for each other, their livestock, the community, and the land. We'll visit Ute Creek Ranch and learn about the Cruz commitment to sustainable agriculture. Welcome back. Buyeros is in northeast New Mexico. It's beautiful but rugged country. Tutta Libby Cruz family ties to this land go back to the 1800s when her great-great-grandfather and his 5 brothers laid claim to this land, settled, and raised their families here. As time went on, the challenges of the land, along with the Dust Bowl and Depression, caused hardships for her grandparents. The ranch had to be leased, but eventually her parents were able to regain it. They stayed and raised 5 children here.
We have very deep ties to the land here, and the ranch has been in the family for that number of years.
Jack was born near Cheyenne, Wyoming on a little purebred Hereford outfit. He remembers the first time he saw Tutta.
Well, we were going to school at the University of Arizona. The first time I saw this girl, I absolutely fell in love. That was about 45 years ago. And we've raised 2 children. We have 3 grandchildren, including a set of 5-year-old identical twin boys. So unfortunately, they're not right here with us on the place, but they sure are part of the operation. They're in mind on everything that we do and every decision that we make.
Throughout most of their married life, they lived in Wyoming, where Jack was a banker. His focus was ag finance.
We always knew we would come back to the ranch, and so we had this opportunity late in life to have a second career and do something we've always wanted to do.
I love it here. This is home to me, and I lived in Wyoming for over 40 years, and we raised our family there. When you marry, you live and you have a wonderful life, and we did, but my heart never left New Mexico. And the culture here is so unique. You know, the food, the people, the buildings, you know, the architecture, the history. It's so rich and so wonderful.
It is.
And just the sweetest people, the most wonderful neighbors. We're so fortunate, and we feel very blessed.
Time and a lack of care had left Ute Creek Ranch in need of attention. The Cruz had a goal to rebuild Ute Creek Ranch, but to do it in a way that was good for the land, the environment, and the future, a holistic approach.
We're very, very focused on sustainable agriculture. We want to figure out a way for our children and our grandchildren to stay on this land and to be blessed as we have been, and to keep it in the family, and to nurture it and grow it so that we can all continue to be a part of it and keep those ties to the land.
Their ideas for a natural approach were not widely used in New Mexico, but they found some guidance from the Natural Resource Conservation Service, or NRCS.
We knew that it was going to be a big job to operate the way we wanted to operate. We manage holistically, and we try to implement best management practices for progressive new ranchers, you might say. And so we established relationships with, first of all, the NRCS folks, and we've been very fortunate to work with them, partnering with these programs such as EQIP. We work with the National Wild Turkey Federation on wildlife habitat development. We work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Partners Program on wildlife habitat development. The New Mexico Water Trust Board has been a vital part of our partnership program with fencing the riparian areas. We're faced with an infestation of a plant called salt cedar, and that has infested the waterways throughout the West, and they're very heavy water users. And so with these various programs that we've been involved with, we've been able to restore the riparian areas, and one of the major things that we've accomplished is returning the stream of water to Ute Creek year-round. even if we don't have a lot of rain, we have water running down the creek, and this is truly an accomplishment, almost miraculous.
It's been a lot of hard work, but we've loved it. We now have 17 pastures in our rotation grazing system, starting with the 4 that when we came here, we put in something like 35 miles of fencing, over 6 miles of pipeline. So we've made some significant changes, and it's so gratifying to see the results from it. Another issue we've been involved in is very close monitoring of our range conditions. We worked with a consultant out of Albuquerque with in our holistic resource management approach to things, of course the NRCS, and then we got involved with Texas A&M University on a program they called FRAMS, which is Forage Risk Assessment Management, and it's a new program, very computerized, and we monitor the grassland, clip samples, weigh that, send in fecal samples, keep very close rainfall records, and all of this goes into the program of software to help manage through drought situations. And while it's very new, it looks like it has a lot of promise, and we've been pleased to be included as part of a beta test group working on that program.
Their well-documented care of the land and management during drought has earned recognition for the Cruz and Ute Creek Ranch. This brochure, Doing All the Right Things, was produced by the NRCS. It's called Smarter Farmers, Wiser Ranchers, and it says, New Mexico's recent drought has called on the state's best land stewards to persevere and protect New Mexico's finest farms and ranches. Among the best of the best were Tutta Libby Cruz and Jack Cruz from the Ute Creek Cattle Company in northeastern New Mexico. They exemplify what conservation planning and good stewardship can do. They have demonstrated what it takes to tend the land while raising top-quality cattle.
Every year we go out and do our transects, analyze the species, the amount of ground cover that we have within that yard square test plot, and it's really helping in our management. And while we're doing that and helping the land, our cattle are doing better.
Every decision made at Ute Creek Ranch is with the future of their 2 children, Ted and Libby, and grandchildren Bennett, Seth, and Bella Wood in mind. Restoring this ranch and returning to New Mexico and her home church has filled their hearts with joy. This beautiful church is 113 years old and on the historic register.
We have a little church over here that we really feel very connected to, and it's a very powerful place for our family members to return to, and I feel very privileged to wake up in the morning and see that church every day.
Cattle are also a part of Ute Creek Ranch. When we return, we'll learn how the Cruz have changed their herd and how they want to help change the economy in their community. Stay with us. Jack and Tutta Libby Cruz have not only worked to improve the land at Ute Creek Ranch, they have worked to improve their cattle as well.
Another major thing we did was really go to work on the genetics of the herd. The herd we started with was a pretty line-bred herd of Herefords, and we wanted to do something different with that. So we brought in some black composite bulls, and the first year the increase in weaning weight was 85 pounds a head over those straight breds, and as yearlings it was 110 pounds. And now we're using straight Angus bulls on these crossbred cows. We still have some of the old Herefords left.
Jack sought direction, input, and bloodlines from Profit Maker Genetic Alliance in Ogallala, Nebraska, where he now leases the bulls to improve his herd.
Well, this was a change that we made of seeking some really intense carcass genetics that we felt we needed in our herd, and we liked the idea of leasing bulls. I tell people we have two wonderful days a year. One when the bulls arrive and we're so pleased with how they look, and the next pleasant day is when we load them on the truck and send them back home again.
It's not just the bloodlines that improve. Tutta is quick to point to Jack's care and handling in changing the herd's disposition.
I have to give my husband a little credit here, no, a lot of credit here. When we came to the ranch, the cow herd that we inherited was not only a straight Hereford line-bred herd, but that they were pretty wild. And with his calm way and his expertise at handling cattle, and then the criteria for sire selection and using disposition as one of the reasons that we choose a bloodline, we have been able to turn this cow herd completely around. We've sold our cattle on Superior before, you know that, and I said to our rep one day, I said, we're going to send Jack out here and he's going to hand feed these calves and you're going to be able to pan in on this. And you know, they showed that on the video and we got another 7 cents a pound for those calves.
One of the things that we're so interested in is the low stress handling of the livestock. And we put in a set of working pens based upon plans of Temple Grandin from Colorado State, and they're working like a charm. And Tutta and I can work an entire herd through that, just the two of us, that it works so efficiently. That has changed things so dramatically. Cattle are doing so much better. We don't have any dark cutters or any injuries on cattle that are going through the process.
Maintaining their holistic approach to ranching has carried over to their beef cattle.
We're involved with the Country Natural Beef program in Oregon. We sent our first cattle out there to be fed, and they were harvested this June, and we were so pleased to get the results back, and every head that we sent out there met the target of that Country Natural Beef strict criteria, and 67% of them met the target, the bullseye, which was even a stricter criteria.
We believe in producing a healthy product for our consumers. We see an exponential growth in the natural market, and it fits with our values, the ranch values, and with our personal values. And our children are very in tune to healthy food, food that isn't treated with antibiotics or anaphors or hormones or chemicals in any way. So this really fits with our operation.
As Tutta and Jack improved the ranch, their bonus was in nature.
We went to work and we created the Tutta Libby Cruz Wild Bird Sanctuary. And you're talking to a baby birder here. I mean, I didn't realize what we were getting into, and I didn't have a lot of knowledge about birds, but one thing we did learn is that a diverse number of species indicate a healthy ecosystem. And so this shortgrass prairie goes very, very well with bird habitat. And so we have a beautiful wild bird sanctuary just north of our home here, and we have a drip system and trees and water and berry bushes, and I think it's something that will add to the interest for ecotourism, and will also add to the sustainable agriculture element of our program.
Their love for the Boyeros area and its future goes beyond the borders of Ute Creek Ranch. They are interested in helping develop the area economically.
My thinking was that a rural community foundation would be a good place to begin to start with, and so I've started a foundation called Área del Campo. It means the Rural Life Foundation. Mission statement is to increase rural community development and quality of life, and to preserve the historical buildings and churches, and maintain the history and the culture of the community, and also to promote sustainable agriculture. And one of the first things we're doing is to assess and evaluate the possibility of increasing nature tourism to this area.
They have patterned their proposed ecotourism promotion after the successful program in Canadian Texas.
The ace they held in their hand was nature. They happen to have the lesser prairie chicken and some flora and fauna in their area that is really unique to their part of the world. And they started working with the state and federal and county agencies, and there are now 15 counties involved in this Texas Prairie Rivers region, and they have 60,000 visitors annually through their community.
Just like sustainable agriculture, a managed growth of the area is good for the future.
It's all a win-win situation, and I have to add that our Governor Richardson is very in tune to what we're doing here, and we have his ear and his support. We're proud of what we've done, and we also believe that it's important for people to know, particularly people in the urban area. We think it's important for them to know what ranchers are doing in the way of land stewardship, in the way of raising healthy cattle, in the way of developing water and restoring riparian areas. And we just feel that it's important to share that information.
I'm sure that Ute Creek Cattle Company will be successful for generations to come due to the careful and loving foundation laid by Jack and Tetta Libby Cruz. We hope you've enjoyed this look at Ute Creek Cattle Company. For the American Rancher, I'm Pam Minnick. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.